Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy my video, please click the like button and share the video. It is the only way the YouTube algorithms really notices me. I will be very grateful to you. The snow won't let me leave the mountain. Scary story published by Scare Fiction. Read for you by Scare Fiction. Chapter 1. The Journey Begins. The snow-covered mountain loomed ahead, its jagged peaks piercing the slate-gray sky like ancient sentinels. An expanse of untouched white stretched across the landscape, glistening under the muted winter sun. The wind whispered secrets, swirling snowflakes into a dizzying dance, making the mountain feel alive, almost sentient. For Alex, this place held both allure and unease, a tapestry woven with beauty and isolation. Can you believe we're actually doing this? Mia's voice broke through Alex's reverie, her eyes sparkling with excitement. She leaned forward in the passenger seat, her enthusiasm contagious as she brushed a strand of dark hair behind her ear. Beside her, Jake fiddled with his camera, adjusting the lens to capture the breathtaking scenery. Sam sat in the back, headphones wrapped around his neck, nodding to music only he could hear, oblivious to the burgeoning tension in the air. "Yeah, we're going to have the best weekend ever," Jake chimed in, his fingers dancing across the buttons. He caught Alex's gaze in the rearview mirror, his smile broad and confident. "Just think of the snowboarding, the campfires, and the stories." "The stories," Alex echoed, a knot forming in their stomach. "You mean the ones about people who disappeared up here?" They tried to sound light-hearted, but the tales of lost hikers and eerie echoes seemed to hang in the air, their ominous weight pulling at Alex's heart. "Oh, come on, don't be such a downer," Sam retorted, a teasing grin spreading across his face. "Those are just urban legends. This mountain is just, well, a mountain. Just snow and trees." Mia laughed, but Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading into something they didn't quite understand. The car hummed along the winding road, and as they ascended, the landscape shifted from dense pine forests to open vistas where the horizon stretched endlessly, dominated by the towering white peaks. Each turn of the road unveiled new scenery, but with every twist, a sense of foreboding seeped deeper into Alex's mind. Then, without warning, the mood shifted. The dark clouds rolled in like an army on the march, blotting out the sun and casting an eerie shadow over the landscape. "That doesn't look good," Mia said, her tone sobering as she pointed toward the sky. Jake frowned, glancing up at the rapidly changing weather. "We'll be fine. It's probably just a little snow." "Right, Alex?" But his confidence wavered as the first flakes began to fall soft, gentle, but persistent. Alex tightened their grip on the steering wheel, trying to shake off the chill creeping into their bones. "Let's just keep moving. Cabin is just a little farther," they replied, attempting to reassure not only their friends, but also themselves. As the snowflakes multiplied, swirling in chaotic patterns, Alex's mind wandered back to the stories they had heard, tales of people who had come up to this mountain only to be swallowed by its silence, never to return. They could almost hear the whispers in the wind, the warnings of those who had been here before. With every mile, the landscape transformed into a winter wonderland, breathtaking yet foreboding. The shadows of the trees grew longer, and the whispers of the mountains seemed to rise, filling the air with an unsettling tension that pressed down on them all. As they pressed on, one thought echoed in Alex's mind: they were venturing into the unknown, and there would be no turning back. Chapter 2. The storm approaches. The road twisted ahead, but the car felt increasingly like a cage, its walls closing in with every passing mile. The first flurry of snowflakes had rapidly transformed into a blinding torrent, heavy and relentless. Alex squinted through the windshield, the wipers struggling against the mounting weight of the storm. "What the hell is happening?" Jake shouted over the roar of the wind, his voice laced with panic as the visibility shrank to mere feet. "This wasn't in the forecast. We should have turned back." Mia chimed in, her voice trembling. "This is getting out of control." Panic surged in the cramped space as the storm engulfed them, the once exciting adventure morphing into a nightmare. The road, once clearly marked, faded into a white abyss, and the familiar landmarks dissolved into swirling snow. With each moment, the realization sank deeper. They were stranded, cut off from civilization. "I can't see anything." Alex's heart raced, recalling their childhood, the endless hours alone in their room, the suffocating silence that had turned into a wall of fear. They had once gotten lost in a department store, the panic of being surrounded yet utterly alone clawing at their chest. The memories crashed back, a tsunami of dread, as they fought to push the feeling away. "Just keep driving. We'll find somewhere to stop," Sam urged, his voice breaking through Alex's spiraling thoughts. With gritted teeth, Alex pressed on, their hands gripping the wheel so tightly their knuckles turned white. The road was barely visible, just a ghost of what it had been, and the storm howled like a wild beast, testing their resolve. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught Alex's eye, a shadow darting through the trees lining the road. They blinked, shaking their head. "Did you guys see that?" "See what?" Mia asked, her voice barely a whisper. "A shadow. Back there." Alex's voice wavered, uncertainty creeping in. The wind howled louder, carrying faint whispers that seemed to echo through the cabin. It was a haunting chorus that seeped into their minds, words half-formed and unintelligible, but unsettling all the same. "Probably just the storm playing tricks," Jake said, though his eyes darted nervously. But doubt lingered, an unwelcome companion in the cabin's close quarters. The feeling of being watched washed over Alex, as if unseen eyes lurked just beyond the veil of snow, waiting for the right moment to strike. The landscape morphed, becoming something sinister and unknown. "Let's pull over," Sam suggested, his voice quaking with fear. "We need to regroup and figure out what to do." Alex nodded, though the knot in their stomach twisted tighter. As they searched for a spot to stop, the whispers grew louder, wrapping around them like a cold embrace, hinting at secrets hidden deep within the mountain's heart. The storm was just beginning, and with it came the realization that the true terror lay not only in the snow, but in the shadows of their past. Chapter 3. Trapped. After what felt like hours of navigating through the swirling white chaos, Alex finally spotted the outline of a cabin through the snow-laden trees. Relief washed over them like a warm tide. "There," they exclaimed, pointing towards the structure. "Let's get inside." As they pulled up, the cabin loomed before them, a rickety relic from another time, its wooden frame warped and weather-beaten. The door hung slightly ajar, creaking in the wind as if beckoning them inside. They stepped out of the car, the cold biting into their skin, and hurried toward the entrance, eager to escape the storm. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of damp wood and mildew. Dust motes floated in the beam of their flashlight, illuminating old furniture draped in white sheets. An antique sofa, faded and sagging, sat forlornly in front of a crumbling fireplace, the remnants of charred logs scattered like memories of a forgotten warmth. "Wow, this place is rustic," Jake said, forcing a chuckle that fell flat in the oppressive silence. Alex shone the beam around the room, catching glimpses of peeling wallpaper adorned with floral patterns that had long since wilted. The walls were lined with old photographs, the faces frozen in time, smiling families, winter gatherings, and children in oversized coats. Yet, as they stared, the smiles seemed to fade, replaced by something unsettling lurking in the eyes. "Let's check for supplies," Mia suggested, her voice steady, though her hands trembled slightly as she brushed against a dusty table, sending a plume of dirt into the air. They began rummaging through drawers and cabinets, uncovering mismatched dishes, a rusted can opener, and a few long expired cans of beans. "Not exactly gourmet," Sam muttered, but his humor barely masked the tension hanging thick in the air. As dusk fell, the storm outside intensified, the wind howling like a living creature, rattling the cabin's walls. With each gust, shadows flickered across the room, creating an unsettling dance that sent chills down Alex's spine. Suddenly, a loud thud echoed from the outside, followed by a series of rustling noises. Alex's heart raced. "Did you hear that?" they whispered, eyes wide. "Probably just branches hitting the roof," Jake said, though his voice betrayed his uncertainty. "No way. That sounded like someone." Mia's eyes darted toward the window, straining to see through the flurry of snow. Panic surged as they exchanged nervous glances. "We should go check it out," Sam suggested, his bravado faltering. "Are you crazy? It's a blizzard out there," Mia shot back, her voice rising. "We could get lost or worse." The argument escalated, each suggestion met with mounting fear and anxiety. The walls of the cabin seemed to close in, and the air turned frigid, an unnatural chill creeping beneath their skin. Alex shivered, feeling a sudden drop in temperature that wasn't just the cold of the storm. "Something's not right," they said, trying to calm the group. Flickering lights overhead cast long shadows that twisted ominously, creating a sense of foreboding. "Let's just stay here for the night," Alex urged, their voice steady despite the unease gnawing at them. "We can figure it out in the morning." The others reluctantly nodded, though doubt flickered in their eyes. Outside, the storm raged on, its howl mingling with the whispers in the wind, hinting at secrets buried deep within the mountain. Trapped, with the storm closing in, they were about to discover just how treacherous their surroundings and each other could be. Chapter 4: Shadows of the Past. The wind howled outside, an uninvited guest, as the four of them huddled in the dimly lit cabin, the flickering light bulbs casting jittery shadows on the walls. Tension hung in the air, thick enough to cut with a knife. They sat in a circle around the fireplace, the warmth from the dying embers doing little to soothe the chill that had settled deep in their bones. "We need to talk," Alex finally said, breaking the suffocating silence. The truth weighed heavily on their chest, a reminder of the past they desperately tried to ignore. "What are we really doing here? We're not just snowed in, we're trapped." Jake leaned forward, his expression serious. "I didn't think it would turn into something like this. I thought we were just going to have fun. Remember last summer? The camping trip?" Mia's eyes darted toward the window, her face pale. "That was different. We weren't isolated like this." Her voice trembled as the memories crept in, shadows of the past clawing their way to the surface. "Look, we can't just sit here and wait for the storm to pass," Sam said, his tone defensive. "We have to keep our heads together." But the fear in his eyes betrayed him. The group needed to confront the silence festering between them. "Do you remember what happened at the lake?" Mia's voice was barely above a whisper, but it hung heavy in the air. "That summer, when—" A flash of memory hit Alex like a freight train, dark water, splashes, and frantic cries for help. They had been there, had witnessed the tragedy that had stolen a friend from them. The guilt bubbled back to the surface, bringing with it the suffocating weight of blame. If only they had done something differently. "I never should have let you guys swim that day," Alex admitted, voice cracking. "I should have—" "Maya," You need to stop bringing it up, Jake interjected sharply. That was years ago. We were kids. It's not your fault. It's not that simple, Maya shot back, her eyes suddenly wide with a horror that transcended the storm outside. This place, it feels wrong. I can feel it. It's as if something wants us here. Before anyone could respond, a sudden chill swept through the room, extinguishing the flickering lights. In that darkness, Mia gasped, her breath hitching as she fell silent, her eyes glazing over. Mia, Alex called, rising from their seat. But Mia was frozen, a look of terror etched on her face. I see them, she whispered, her voice distant, echoing from somewhere deep within. The children. They're drowning. They're calling for help. Snap out of it, Sam shouted, panic creeping into his tone. Mia, Jake's voice broke as he reached for her. Suddenly, she gasped and collapsed into his arms, her vision broken. They're all gone, she murmured, her voice trembling with grief. We're next. Fear electrified the air, igniting a rift among them. Alex's heart raced. Trust was slipping like sand through their fingers. The shadows of their past hung heavily, merging with the darkness outside, threatening to consume them. We need to stick together, Alex urged, though uncertainty gnawed at them. With their deepest fears laid bare, it was clear the mountain was not just an indifferent backdrop, it was an active participant in their torment. And the real danger might lie not only in the storm, but in the depths of their own haunted memories.